Well, hello everyone, what is going on? It is TheAlmightyGeoff, and we're here with episode 29 of Assassin's Creed Revelations The Ezio Collection. In the previous episode, we completed all of Sequence 8, which had us returning to Constantinople to find Yusuf had been killed by the Templars. We had to rescue Sophia, but in exchange hand over the Masyaf keys. Then it turned out to be this whole ploy where someone who looked like Sophia was the one who ended up saving, and then she almost got hung, and then we saved her, and then we went chasing after Ahmet with the Masyaf keys, and well, his brother came along and killed him instead. But we have the keys now, and we are just about to load back into Sequence 9, which will have us in Masyaf, to finally find out what is below Altaïr's library. Well, what is in Altaïr's library, below Masyaf main ground. So let's get carrying on. So obviously this is just carrying on straight from the last episode. May 1512. Fascinating. Doesn't look much different. It's done pretty well for itself, not gonna lie. Alright, the homecoming. Ezio and Sophia have arrived at Masyaf after many weeks of travel. Time to open the library.
This way. Such a climb. È così bello qui. This is where your order began?
It began thousands of years ago, but here it was reborn.
By the man you mentioned, Altaïr?
Altaïr ibn Ahad. He built us up and set us free. He saw the folly of keeping a castle like this. It had become a symbol of arrogance and a beacon for all our enemies.
And the mandate for menacing hoods? Was that his idea as well? You mentioned a creed before. What is it?
Nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
That is rather cynical.
It would be if it were doctrine, but it is merely an observation of the nature of reality. To say that nothing is true is to realize that the foundations of society are fragile, and that we must be the shepherds of our own civilization. To say that everything is permitted is to understand that we are the architects of our actions, and that we must live with their consequences, whether glorious or tragic.
Do you regret your decision to live as an assassin for so long?
I do not remember making that decision. This life, it chose me. For 3 decades, I have served the memory of my father and my brothers, and fought for those who have suffered the pain of injustice. I do not regret those years, but it is time to live for myself, and let them go. To let go of all of this.
Then let go. You will not fall far.
I didn't. Yeah, that was a really interesting analogy put forward by Ezio there on the creed, on the nothing is true, everything is permitted. I wasn't sure when that when we'd run out of space to hear the cutscene, which is why we stopped at the entrance there. Looks like we could have just come down here and interacted with it. Never mind, but okay, whatever. But to be safe and sorry. Well, let's Sophia to the library door. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. So would they carry on the conversation at this point? Now it's just like an awkward silence, or what? I don't know. But we've heard it all. That's all that matters. Here is the key. Here is the gate. Well, the door that we tried so hard to break into all those episodes ago. Was it episode 1 or episode 2? I think it must have been episode 1, wasn't it?
The end of the road.
Alright. So there's a little puzzle thing
What
here.
do you hope
we're
to
gonna
find
do.
behind that door?
Knowledge, above all else. Altaïr was a profound man and a prolific writer. He built this place as a repository for all his wisdom. He saw many things in his life and learned many secrets, both troubling and strange. Knowledge that would drive lesser men to despair.
Does that worry you?
Sophia, you should know by now that I am not a lesser man.
Ezio.
Okay, you done yapping? Let's open the door. There we go.
You
May
had
the fun
better come out
begins.
of there alive.
I plan to.
Oh, damn, son. You go, you dirty dog. I love Ezio. His charm is timeless. Alright. It's alright, take your time. Light all the bloody candles, or torches, whatever. We've got all day. Well, for a library, there seems to be pretty absent of books. I do have to say, Altaïr. Look who it is. There we
No
go.
books. No wisdom. Just you, fratello mio. Requiescat in pace, Altaïr.
Damn. And here we go one last time. Back to Altaïr.
You have seen to my books.
92.
Yes.
Wow.
Some we sent with the Polos. The rest will go with me to Alexandria.
Good. Very good.
Father, I do not understand. Why did you build a library if you did not intend to keep your books?
You should go. When the Mongols return, Masyaf must be empty.
I see. This is not a library at all. It is a vault.
It must stay hidden, Darim. Far from eager hands. At least until it has passed on the secret it contains.
What secret?
Go, son. Go be with your family. And live well.
All that is good in me began with you, Father.
Poor dude. But I mean, blimey. Especially for this era of history. 92. That is quite some achievement.
In much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow.
What does it tell you? What do you see?
Strange visions and messages of ones who came before, of their rise and their fall.
But what happens to us, Altaïr? To our family? What does the apple say?
Who were the ones who came before? What brought them here? How long ago?
Get rid of that thing!
This is my duty, Maria. If you are asked, say I sent the apple away. Tell them I sent it to Cyprus or Cipango, or that I dropped it into the sea. Tell them anything to keep men away from this place. This apple must not be found. Not until the time is right.
Sit a moment and rest. Well, this is it, guys. The legendary Altaïr. No Templars can kill us. No disease can kill us. Only life's greatest inevitability. Old age. Sorry, get a bit philosophical there for a moment. Go on then. You've truly had your rest, Altaïr. It's about bloody time you ever sit down. His poor weary legs. That scene is quite emotional. Even if not, like, physically. Like, you gotta admit, this is probably, like, the... How many times have I seen that cutscene? Like, 1,000,000 times, and it still hits. Because this is it, guys. This is the end of the Ezio Altaïr era of Assassin's Creed. This is like its founding era.
Another artifact. No. You will stay here. I have seen enough for one life. Desmond?
He's talking to me?
I heard your name once before, Desmond. A long time ago. And now it lingers in my mind, like an image from an old dream. I do not know where you are, or by what means you can hear me. But I know you are listening. I have lived my life as best I could, not knowing its purpose, but drawn forward like a moth to a distant moon. And here at last, I discover a strange truth. That I am only a conduit for a message that eludes my understanding. Who are we, who have been so blessed to share our stories like this? Speak across centuries. Maybe you will answer all the questions I have asked. Maybe you will be the one to make all this suffering worth something in the end. Now, listen.
And boom. It's the end of sequence 9.
Do you hear me, Cypher? Can you see me? Ah, there you are. Good. A strange place, this nexus of time. I am not used to the calculations. That has always been Minerva's domain. I see you still have many questions. Who were we? What became of us? What do we desire of you? You will have your answers. Only listen, and I will tell you how. Both before the end and after, we sought to save the world. We built vaults within which to work, each dedicated to a different method of salvation. They were placed underground to avoid the war which raged above, and also as a precaution should we fail in our efforts. Each vault's knowledge was transmitted to a single place. It was our duty, mine, Minerva's, and Juno's, to sort and sample all that was collected. We chose those solutions which held the most promise, and devoted ourselves to testing their merits. 6 we tried in succession, each more encouraging than the last, but none worked. And then the world ended.
Sorry, you know, guys, I'm not saying too much, just kind of want to... I mean, I've seen all this before, of course, I know all about this, but I kind of want you guys to appreciate what's going on with cutscene-wise. assassins fail.
The earth shook for days, the fires burned for weeks, and when the ash had settled, less than 10,000 of your kind still lived, and far fewer of ours. But we carried on, together, to rebuild, to renew. Listen, you must go there, to the place where we labored and lost. Take my words. Pass them from your head into your hands. That is how you will open the way. But be warned, much still remains in flux, and I do not know how things will end, either in my time or yours.
Oh.
Wait, look, his vitals are stabilizing. Something's happening. He's moving.
Desmond, can you hear me? Son?
I know what we need to do.
How awfully convenient. Oh, goddamn, son. Wow, you psychic. And that, guys, is where Assassin's Creed 3 will start. Of course, we are 3 episodes away from... well, 4 episodes away, technically, if you're including the first episode of the new season. New series. But yeah, there we go, guys. That is Assassin's Creed Revelations 100% completed. What a game, guys. What a game. For its story alone, this exceeds many in the series. Yeah. Though gameplay-wise, I can see that it's not quite as good as 2 or Brotherhood, and I felt like, obviously, I mean, this is only episode 29, where Assassin's Creed 2 lasted until episode 50, and Brotherhood lasted till 44. This one will, including DLC, last only till episode 32, which really says a lot about how much shorter this game is compared to the last ones, which is a shame, because I feel like if this was as open as Brotherhood and 2 were, I mean, I guess you're kind of limited with the city-wise, but even Brotherhood didn't even have a Cappadocia. It was literally completely restricted 100% to Rome, and yet there was so much more that you could do in that wise. So it's sort of a shame that this one wasn't quite as open in that respect, but the story alone makes up for it to be one of the greatest of the series. I definitely think that, especially that ending, and it's such a perfect, beautiful and also heart-wrenching way to end the eras of Altaïr and Ezio. Now, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be playing through those like PSP, DS games that came between these games. For the foreseeable future, that's not going to be the case. For one, I don't own either of the consoles, and 2, I don't really see a way to record them either, so whether I watch playthroughs of them in my own time, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure, at least from reading the books, that I have a good idea about what happens in the in-between bits of both series. And I recommend that if you enjoyed the eras of Altaïr and Ezio, that you do give the actual novels a read from crap, what's his name? Hang on, see if I can read it from here. Oliver Bowden. Those are the ones. They just I don't know if you just try and point in the webcam. Just behind that second shelf there, I have all the books to date, all there, and I've read through most of them except for like the last two. I think I still need to look through, which is Unity and the one based on Syndicate. And I think they might have released a new one for Origins. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, as I said, we've still got 3 more episodes of this series to go, guys, before we move on to Assassin's Creed 3, and the rest of this episode is just going to be the credits, unless there's anything post, but I don't think there is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and also be sure to share the video, and I'll see you guys in episode 30. Bye, guys.
everything changes.